If you could pick any quarterback in the NFL, who do you want to sack?
Tom Brady. Off the dome. Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
What's going on today? It's your host, Zach Schumaker, and this is the first 2022 NFL draft interview and the very first football interview we've had on here. And to kick this new stage off is the PFF's USA Defensive Player of the Year. He's a 6'7", 270-pound linebacker coming out of UAB. We finished his 3-year run with 13 sacks, 91 tackles, and 19 tackles for a loss. He also was an All-CUSA freshman team selection his freshman year and All-CUSA second team selection this past season. He also is now a member of the 2022 NFL Draft, where he's currently projected to be a second-round pick. Alex Wright. What's going on today, Alex?
I'm good. I'm great.
Absolutely. Well, this obviously has to be a whole new experience for you. You're going through this NFL draft process, and I've just got to ask, you look at yourself now, all these NFL players have always gone through this process, and now you are in those shoes. You're getting ready to go and live out your dream. Has this always been something that you looked at and said, okay, I could be an NFL draft prospect? This is something that's my dream and I think I can do it? Or just kind of take us through what you're feeling like right now.
I mean, the feeling is still surreal, it's just a dream that I can't wake up out of. And those dreams that I would rather just keep dreaming instead of having to, just wake up out of nowhere. It's like you said, I've been working, I've been grinding, to now I get to call myself, I'm into the draft class. It's crazy. It's a crazy feeling. I'm happy to be here. I'm blessed to be here.
So you've officially now confirmed you're going to the NFL draft, and you see the mock drafts. I have to imagine, you're projected a second round pick to mid round pick. You are already kind of in a way, in most people's minds, kind of guaranteed to be drafted, but you have room to possibly move up. Obviously, you could also move down in some aspects too. So what do you want to improve on? What's kind of your goal for the next 2-3 months until the draft? What do you want to improve on? How do you kind of plan to take that all in over the next few months?
I want to start just off with nutrition, then go on to working, on 40s, drills, combine drills, position drills, just making sure that I could get to my best version of myself possible. And I can show the scouts that I could hang with the guys that's in Power 5 instead of, I can show them that, there are diamonds in the rough that come from G5 schools. So that's how I always looked at it. It's just the fact that I just been working, just grinding here down in Miami, just trying to make them realize, I can be one of those guys too. And it's a blessing to actually be in the second round, projected in the second round on third,
Mm-hmm.
But there's always room for improvement,
Mm-hmm.
That's how I look at it. I always been the type to look at it that way. I will look at it no different, no shape or form, just always improvement. So
you kind of started this off mentioning this has been a dream. This is something that's kind of surreal for you. And obviously it takes a lot of work to get to this point. So I kind of want to go back, let people learn your story and how you've become an NFL draft prospect now. So we head back. You're from Alabama. What was it like just growing up out there?
I mean, it was small. It wasn't as big as every other school or every other city, Montgomery, Birmingham. This is in the neck of the woods. This is in the cut, where there's not that many people. I came from a 2A classification school before they went down to 1A after I graduated. So coming from a stage where you on a Friday night football field when there's about 500 people at a game to 10,000, 30,000, 40,000. It's an eye-opener, but it gave me goosebumps because that made me realize, this is really college football. This is how it's done. So, and then just looking at it on TV as a child, just picturing myself out there, it's still funny to this day where I could watch myself on the TV and I still get this feeling I'm on TV, I'm on TV. So I feel like it's a blessing because it's a blessing and a curse, because not that many people can make it out where I'm from, or they choose to stay because the mindset and all that stuff. So it's a small town with small-minded people, if that makes sense. So I'm the blessing out of it because I was fortunately one of those people that made it out. So.
Mm. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think football was the first sport you started playing. I know I read somewhere that you weren't playing until a sophomore year of high school. So you grew up, obviously, we know you're one of the taller linebackers out in this draft class, but you grew up 6'7". I believe you were playing basketball and band for the early part of your career. Walk us through that a little bit.
Okay, so my family is like big in music, singing, playing instruments. Just that we was that type of band. So we was that type of band of a family. So me joining band and stuff like that just wanted me to open up another opportunity. I was good at woodwind instruments, saxophone, stuff like that. I could even play the clarinet. That's how I was. Like I was that versatile in the music area of like my life. So, and then I was in band from 5th grade to my freshman year. But my freshman year, that's when I started picking up sports. That's when I started playing basketball. So eventually I wanted to move forward. I wanted to be a two-sport. I wanted to, try football out and stuff like that. So I got the hang of it in football. I got the hang of it in football my 10th grade year. So I was like, yeah, I can go with this. I mean, band is always going to be a part of me. That's what's always helped me to get through certain things in life. So, and my music director always told me, music is always going to follow you wherever you go. It's not like it's going to give up on you. It's not like you're going to give up on it. Y'all always going to be side by side, whether you realize it or not. And I didn't get what he was saying until I got up to college, and I'm like, I can look at this. Like I'm in certain classes, music appreciation. I'm like, I know what this is. Like I'm already ahead of the class. So it's certain stuff that I didn't realize, but I'm thankful for. So, and then that's when basketball, I was one of those kids that I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it to the NBA. I'm gonna do this, do that, shoot, I'm gonna make it. And so, but there was just other plans that God had for me. So, and then on top of that, I had to make a business decision because we weren't really a basketball school. We was really a football school. Everybody known Elba in the Wiregrass as a football school. We were always football, don't get me wrong, but football was the heart of Elba High School. It always has been. So that's when I made the business decision, and plus that's where the 4 Rise came, the offers, the SEC offers, the Power 5 offers, that's where that came. Don't get me wrong, I love basketball, but that's where the business decisions come in. Like I love football too, but basketball may not get me where football is getting me, so I'm gonna choose the football route. So that's how I went out from 5th grade through, my senior year with starting from band to signing to play D1 football.
Now, in terms of music, again, like that is something that, like you said, it does continue with guys, even throughout the careers. Like we see multiple players in various sports still making music, rather be rap, country, like any different forms. Like we see guys still love of music. So is that something you still work on today? Like, do you still, when you're at college, are you still working on the dorm, practicing at all? Do you still do it at home? Like, is that still a part of your life?
Not anymore, but I carry certain genres with me that I wouldn't think I would carry. So the more I catch myself, engaging in other type of genres and stuff like that, more background music and stuff like that. With me, I'm more of a background music type. When I'm listening to songs, I listen to the melodies of certain instruments. I listen to the bass. I listen to the instruments that's going on. Whatever makes up the song in the background and just how it just mellows out together. That's what I pay attention to. Then I pay attention to the lyrics first, because people can fall in love with, the lyrics. People can, I like what he just said, blah, blah, blah. But what he said doesn't matter if the music doesn't follow behind him. You know what I'm saying? So, because that's what people listen to nowadays. They'll be like, people can listen to this beat, blah, 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 blah. But people don't really notice it as much as they do the lyrics, So that's how I look at it.
So if you're getting ready for a game or a practice, what type of music you're listening to? And is it the same as if you're just hanging out around the house or if you're just driving to practice or something?
Nah. See, with me, I'm more of a vibe type of person. So how I'm feeling at the moment, if I'm doing homework, I'm listening to, 90s, R&B, 90s, certain stuff. But if game day, I might listen to today's rap. I might even listen to '90s rap. It's just whatever is next on my game day playlist. That's what I'm playing. So even if it goes from Lil Wayne to Tupac to Biggie to Wu-Tang, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is I'm feeling on my game day playlist, that's what I'm feeling. But if I'm in a vibe where I'm doing homework or just smelling out, I listen to, Alicia Keys, Mos Def, Summer Walker. I even listen to Summer Walker, SZA, Drake. I listen to, stuff that's just gonna mellow me out and get me through my homework. That's what I listen to. So I pretty much kind of listen to like everybody. So
I know you also mentioned that you didn't start playing basketball until your freshman year of high school even. So did you really play much sports at all growing up then? Or is that when you got to high school the first time you started being involved in athletics?
no, I mean, of course you had the recreation league, like little, I played that, but I never played basketball. My mom was the type to, you're gonna play one sport, so pick out which one you want to play. So I played football. And then from my second grade year to my fourth grade year, and that's when I took a band my fifth grade year. So it's kind of like I took a break from football.
That might be kind of crazy for a lot of people because when you talk about athletes, most people think, and for a lot of stories, it's the same thing. Like you're grinding your whole life for this. This is something that you've dreamed of. And for basketball, might be playing AAU year round, and then you play high school or whatnot. For football, obviously, it's kind of a similar area in terms of 7-on-7 then and stuff like that. So how were you able to just kind of figure out the athletic portion so quickly? Like you only even playing football for now, 6 years or something, basketball just being involved in serious athletics now for about 7. How did it all come to you so quickly?
I mean, it was just the fact that whatever I had the feeling of loving at the time, because sometimes I might be like, man, I wish I played basketball, man. I'm glad I played football. And I was like that in high school, I can't wait for basketball season. My body's tired. I can't wait to put the helmet back on. So it was kind of like a love-hate relationship. That's how it was. I was kind of like, that's how it was from football season to basketball season to the summer. And like you said, with AAU basketball, I played AAU basketball until my senior year. So basketball was really like on my mind really until the end of my junior year. So that's when I started getting offers and stuff. I'm getting happy. Colleges text me in the class, so-and-so from this, so-and-so. Let me know you have free time. So at that point, that's when I realized my life was starting to change going towards football, not basketball. So that's when I took the route to football, and I was like, I'm just going to have to put the basketball down.
And I know that there are stories. We do see a lot of guys play multiple sports. Sometimes it might even be they play basketball, they go to football in the NFL. Then we've seen guys like Mark Bauer just do that now from Baylor to the NFL path. But was playing 2 sports at college? There still are some guys that do that. Not too many though. But was that something that ever crossed your mind? Was that even an option for you? And if it was, would you have considered that?
It was in high school, but when I seen the schedule and like how my body would react, I was like, this is not gonna work. Like those dudes who did it, hats off to them, because that's just too much going on with my body, I mean, just running back and forth to being in contact to missing a couple games in the basketball season because it starts in the middle of football season, I would just be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I feel like I didn't have time for that. So I said, I'm just gonna stick with football.
Well, let's go to that high school career a little bit because, as you said, you're in Alabama, which obviously is a football state. We know there's tons of talent, tons of pretty much all the big players. We see so many guys come from Alabama, but you weren't obviously in the area of Alabama. You were in one of the smaller areas growing up. So take us to that. Like, how were you able to start getting discovered? How did you start finding all these offers? Because you finished up with 17 offers, probably a lot more interest in that too. How did that all come to you at such a small school?
I mean, I go by the term. I just go by the terms, and you hear people say it all the time. If you're a dog, they're gonna find you anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the motto. That's the motto I've been went off. Because coming from 1A schools, 2A schools, 3A schools, they don't get the luxury of getting looked at by bigger schools. So I was told by my coach. He's not a coach there anymore. He coached at another school, but he was like, we're going to send it off to, Miami. We're going to send it off to Duke. We're going to send it off to, we're going to get you somewhere. We're going to get you somewhere because you're too good of a diamond to be, left in the haystack or needle to be left in the haystack. So when he did that, I was eager to see what would happen, but I didn't think it because, at the time I wasn't kind of positive because, like I said, people don't really make it out. So I've seen athletes go off and come back. And before football season, I've seen it happen. So it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the same. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the colleges don't like them. I don't know if they quit on their own. So it was I was kind of eager, but I was kind of anxious at the same time. Mm-hmm. So when I started, like I said, when I started getting those text messages in class, like, whoa, this is so-and-so from Duke University, I was happy. So then I started getting multiple. So I'm like, my eyes are starting to open. I'm starting to realize so much is changing behind me, around me, all this stuff. It was like, what is going on? Mm-hmm. What is going on? So that's how I was like, in high school. I went from one mindset to another, from one anxious mindset to this is what's going to happen. And I had to promise myself that I wasn't going to be another statistic. I wasn't going to come home, from going off to college, because Elba is the type of place where people go off. Mm-hmm. They go to big cities. They go off and live in big cities. Elba is not the type of city to stay there, because that's where it could get toxic, and that's where it could get complacent and stuff like that. So I made sure, and I made a promise to myself. I said I can't come back here. I love this place. I love school. I love my family. I love the town. I love what the town's made out of me. But at the end of the day, Elba is just one of those cities where you gotta explore out. You can't stay there.
And in all areas of life, there's always that time when you start feeling like, okay, I am better than this person that's getting this. Like, you probably see these other kids in the state of Alabama or even around the country, and you say, okay, I know I'm better than that guy. I'm better than that guy. And they're getting offers. So when did you start feeling like, okay, I'm at that point now. Like, I am a Division I player. Maybe the offers weren't there yet, but like, you started feeling, okay, I truly do believe I can play this next level.
It happened the moment when I remember it like it was yesterday. When I was getting the offers and stuff from Wake Forest, I was on a visit to Wake Forest, mm-hmm. Duke, and Virginia, and that's when Tennessee called, and they was interested in me. They was heavily interested in me. So at that point, that's when I knew, like, this is an SEC school calling about me, like, interested in me. They want to come see me ASAP. I guess because not only I had offers from the ACC, but it's like, if an SEC team wants me, yeah, that's big. Like, that's big. So that's what I went through. That was my thought process. Like, that's how I know, like, I'm not going to be a D2 or NAIA type of player, D3 player, Mm-hmm. But those players, I'm not going to take nothing granted from them, because just because they didn't make it D1, they still have a chance to go play somewhere. So I'm forever happy for them. They did what was best for them. So at that point, I said, I'm a D1 player. I'm a D1 player now. So.
And for everyone listening right now, you just brought up the likes of Duke, which obviously is a high school. You talk about Wake Forest. I know Louisville's in the picture for you. You had interest from Tennessee. We also see where you ended up going, though. You go to UAB, which obviously is not one of those big schools. So how did that come to be? Like, why was UAB ultimately the school you chose to play college football at?
It was the vibe of not only the school, but the coaches, my position coach, Coach G. He reached out to me, and he kind of set himself apart. Not only him, but, Coach Clark and my other teammates, they set themselves apart from all the other schools, was because of the loyalty, the consistency, and just the time they took, just to reach out to me, because they didn't have to do that. Mm-hmm. Coach G, me and him are close to this day. That's my right hand man. That's my coach. That's somebody who I look up to. He's been in my shoes before. He's played in the biggest games. He's played at Belmont for Coach Saban. He's played against LSU. In the championship. He's one of those people that I try to model myself after, because he knows what to do, he knows how to do it, and he's going to do it the right way. So when I knew it was time for me to come to UAB, when, I had a bad game, and, I reached out to Coach G, and I'm like, what do I need to do? And he sent me, we was on the phone for almost over an hour. And this is like 11 o'clock. This man has a whole game he has to coach tomorrow. but he's on the phone with me. No other coach did that. No other coach. The only time some coaches would reach out when they found out I was going to UAB on the visit. So at that time, it's like I'm starting to know the game of recruitment now. Like y'all not here for me. Y'all just want me to go with y'all because y'all don't want me to go with them. Y'all don't want me to go with y'all because y'all want me there. That was the difference between UAB and everybody else. UAB wanted me there, and I felt like family the moment I stepped on campus. Mm-hmm. From the pro day to signing the letter of intent to being on campus, they made me feel at home. That was my home away from home. That was my second home. So I'm forever grateful for not only UAB, but the football team, the campus, my friends that I made. I'm forever grateful for all of them.
I'm a firm believer. I know you brought it up too, that pretty much anywhere you can go in this country that's in Division I, we even see some guys in other levels too, but anywhere in Division I, rather be high school, high major, or lower school, whatever it is, like it is possible to make it to the NFL. Like you can get it. You're a walking example of that. There's also been countless other examples too. So kind of walk us through that time though, because you do know, obviously going to UAB, your chances kind of percentage wise of making the NFL are a lot less than going to, per se, an SEC school, especially, but even a Wake Forest or Duke. So how did you kind of feel okay with that gamble? And how did you say, you know what, I can make my dream a reality still, even though I'm not going to one of the bigger schools?
I mean, like I said, earlier, like they're gonna find you regardless. Mm-hmm. As long as you play your butt off and you play it the right way and you play the game with explosiveness, they're gonna find you regardless. I seen teams, people from D2 colleges, HBCUs go to the NFL. And that's how I look at it, because there's obviously something they like about you and how you carry yourself and the school that you came from. And the fact that, with UAB, we've been winning. We've been, ever since the return, we've been winning. And, people, that's where it's going to turn some heads, Oh, UAB's winning this. UAB upset BYU. UAB's did this, did that. So not only does it raise eyebrows, but it also, turns the spotlight on us. Mm. Who is out there making those plays? Who's out there? Yeah, they're winning. Let's go check the game out. And then so it's like, wow, who is that? So that's how I feel goes on. Like I said, but that's just more of the story. If you're a dog, they're gonna find you anywhere.
So for a lot of guys out there, you do know there's going to be still countless other players going to do the mistake where you go to one of these bigger schools, you might not get an opportunity. There are some guys going to wait it out, and it could happen 3 or 4 years later or whatnot. But there are a lot of guys that say, okay, this school might be the better fit for me, but it's not the big name school. It's not the high level, high major type level school. What's your advice to them? And like, how important is it to find the best fit, the place that truly wants you, as opposed to just the big name?
I say just go with not go with your head and not with your heart, because your heart can tend to, lead you into, oh, I want to go to them because I want to go to Bama because it's Bama. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to go somewhere where they're going to treat you right, where they show the most love to you, where they show the most consistency to you. And, that's going to treat you like you're somebody, like you're already a part of their team. Mm-hmm. So that's my advice, just go somewhere where you best see fit. Don't go nowhere where you just want to, just because who they are or what they did in the past and what they could do in the future, That's what just go with your head, don't go with your heart.
That day you announced your commitment, were you thinking that in 3 years, maybe even 4 years, but eventually at that point, like, did you expect in your future you would be an NFL player? Like, were you confident in that, or was that just still a dream? Like, where were you feeling NFL-wise when you originally commit to UAB?
My original dream was, to do 4 years, get my degree and get out. But, me and my coach would joke all the time, oh, you doing 3 years and you get out. If you gotta do 3 to 4 years, I'm going to get you out. So the more, he would tell me, throughout the years, you're going to be an NFL player, the more my confidence started to build up. Because if he sees something, he's been around first rounders. So if he sees, he know what it looks like. He knows who has what it takes to make it to the league, who don't have what it takes to be in the league. And that's why I respect him so much, because not only is he telling me what he think is, he's telling me what he thinks is possible, but he's telling me his truth. I believe you're going to the NFL. You have what it takes to go to the NFL. you have what it takes to stay in the NFL if you continue to train and you continue to work and you continue to go over things that helps you be successful. So that was pretty much my thing, just what he showed me. That's pretty much what it was.
When you go through your career, I can imagine at some point it did click for you and you started saying, I'm an NFL player now. I think I can make that next jump. When was that for you?
I want to say when we played Georgia, and then when my confidence built up from that game on, you know, it was like a switch. I just turned it on from there. My confidence was like, after that game, my confidence was at an all-time high. And it was like, I'm finna show these people why I got what it takes to make it to the league. I'm finna get back here to this quarterback. Nobody's gonna stop me. Y'all gonna have to double team. Y'all gonna triple team. Y'all gonna do something because I'm coming regardless. So it was just that relentless effort and that relentless confidence that made me shoot up and have the say so in my mind. I'm finna do something and you're not gonna do nothing about it. So and it's just the fact that I wouldn't say it was being cocky, but it's because I know what I can do.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm just walking out there, and one was, oh, y'all suck. I'm gonna get that. No. It was just the want to, just the eagerness, just the hungriness. That's what made me boost my confidence. And the more the results started happening, the more better, the more relieved I was with my results, looking at it on film. So it was just that hungriness that I devoured, that hungriness that turned into confidence, and then confidence started to build up to an all-time high. And that was probably the most confident I ever been, like playing football.
You kind of mentioned a key piece there, and I know you're a believer. We're going to touch up about the rest of this interview about that too, but that is like a fine line to kind of walk. Obviously, the confidence and cockiness, like staying confident, obviously, and kind of at the same time, like staying where you're locked in, kind of following God's word. But on the football field, obviously some things might not always be the most guys. You have to go after guys. You have to have that confidence. You have to have that dog mentality. How have you learned to balance all those different aspects into your life?
I just take it one day at a time, and that's why I always tell people, people ask me, how do you do it? I just take it one time from the smallest piece to the biggest piece. For example, let's say if it's practice, if it's walking to a class, it's just my choices, just leading by example, just taking everything small from, let's say in practice, you got periods. I don't worry about, the end of practice is at so. I take it one portion at a time. If we got stretching, I'm gonna take one stretch one day, one stretch, one exercise at a time. If it's a period, I'm gonna take one play at a time. I'm not looking at the whole thing. I'm dividing it down to what's going on right now. I'm not worried about the future. I'm worried about right now. So that's how I always did it. That's the route I took. I started taking it. I always did it ever since, and it started to pay out for me tremendously.
I have to also imagine that staying home in your home state of Alabama had to be appealing to you, or at least you had to enjoy that kind of representing your hometown. How big of a factor was in your recruiting process? Did that even have a factor in your process?
It did, because it's always a blessing to see somebody, out my whole time make it. So it was kind of, I always knew I had a support system back home, not only from my family, but the whole community. And the community, including the school, the coaches, the teachers, students, it's just fun coming back home. And I could walk to the store and they'd be like, Alex, what you gonna do? You gonna go to the chair? I can't wait to see you in the league. So that just fills my heart. That just fills my heart up. That just warms my heart up, because I know I'm loved from people back at home. And it's always, it does something to me. It kind of makes me emotional sometimes, because it's hard. It's hard coming from there. It's hard living there. It's hard living in there, living in that city. So that's how I always went about it. It's just a crazy feeling. Not only is it a crazy feeling, but it's a big deal. It's a very big deal.
let's hop into that freshman season. It's your first of 2 9-win seasons. You guys go 9-5 throughout the year, but just walk us through the training camp process, getting ready for that season. How are you feeling heading into that? Because as we know, you walk out all conference freshman team. You had a very successful freshman season, but how confident were you heading into that first game?
The confidence level was low. I can be honest. I'm gonna be honest. The confidence level was low, because like I said, coming from a 2A school, 500 people to walking out, running out under the dragon and seeing 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people, and just the lights just bright. I'm like, oh my God. And at that point, I wasn't shaking until I got out there. And the more I'm running, the more I can feel my hands just trembling, like, oh my God, this is happening. I don't know. It was kind of crazy because I never had a feeling like that. I mean, we would play 6A in high school. We was always the team in high school to play up classification. We would never play lower. So even that didn't help. Like that didn't give me no type of experience. So that was like, oh my God. Like, so the more I got used to it, that's when my confidence started to build up. And that's when I started adjusting, because I wasn't in my I'm not in my final form now, but I was still growing into my body. I was 235 pounds at the time. So I wasn't even, growing. I was still growing, but I was still getting used to my body at the same time. So the more I started practicing techniques, the more I started practicing, get offs, pass rush moves, all that stuff. That's the way my confidence started to build up. And I knew my confidence was, starting to show after I seen I was leading everybody, all the freshmen in tackles for loss, sacks, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's like, dude, if I'm leading them as a freshman and I don't know what I'm doing yet, imagine what I could do in the future. Mm-hmm. So it kind of blew up in my face slowly. It was like, okay, I see what's happening. I don't know. I went from I don't know what's happening to just wait what happens. Like, just watch what happens. Like, that's what kind of threw me off though. Like, just thinking about my freshman year, because I didn't know what I was doing. Sometimes, I would be out there, just trying to freestyle. But when I taking stuff serious and started paying attention to everything more that I didn't pay attention to high school, it started to click for me. Because I didn't even know how to watch film yet. Like, I didn't know. I would watch film, but I didn't know how to watch film. I didn't know what to. I just look at, they running the play, next play. But my coach taught me that. Like, he taught me how to watch film, what to look at, certain stuff. So that helped me out tremendously. That was just a stepping stone right there to actually knowing what I was getting myself into and knowing what I was doing.
You also mentioned the growing aspect, and I know at least according to 247's recruiting profile, you were 6'4" coming into college. Obviously, we know you're now 6'7". So, did that growth happen in college, or was that just inaccurate in terms of that? Or take us through that if you did see in college. Like, how that impact you?
It happened in college, and I wouldn't notice it until the spring. I wouldn't notice it during football season. I would notice it in the spring. That's because that's where I would start looking like at my body more, working out more, running more, and stuff like that. So when I started to notice, I'm getting bigger, I'm getting faster, I'm getting stronger. Not only that, I'm getting taller. My arms are getting longer. That's when I started paying attention to it the most, was dead like in the off season.
Mm-hmm. So did that growth spurt happen then heading into your sophomore season or heading into your junior year?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both. I want to say both, because I want to say freshman year. That's what. I want to say freshman year, because I felt like I was the same height. If I wasn't the same height, I probably would have grown an inch. Mm-hmm. But I feel like just the weight part of it, that's what kind of shot up. And now it didn't shoot up, in a short amount of time. It shot up. That's when the pandemic happened. That's when lockdown started to happen. Mm-hmm. So basically, I was in the house, trying to do the best I can. But I mean, I couldn't do anything I wanted to do because we was restricted. We couldn't go outside. So that's when stuff started to change. And when I came back to Birmingham and I stepped on the weight scale, I'm like, I'm 20 pounds heavier than I was. I mean, I feel okay. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like I gained too much weight. But I feel like COVID played a tremendous part in like my weight.
And you also had a lot of different position changes throughout your career. I know you ran in high school, you ran wide receiver, you had an offer to play at FAU at tight end, I believe. And also, you've obviously you are a linebacker right now, but you obviously can be switched around. We see a lot of NFL teams do now. You have the height, the mass to possibly even run up front a little bit too. So take us to that a little bit. Starting with the offensive aspect, was that ever intriguing to you? Like, did you want to possibly play college at the tight end position, or was that something you just said, I like defense, I want to key on that?
I mean, I did at times, because I would picture myself, catching a football in college, scoring a touchdown in college. But with me though, I like sacking the quarterback. I like tackling people. I like slamming people. Just the impact of hearing somebody go, "Ooh," on sideline, knowing you caused that. Like I like that feeling because it just gets my adrenaline pumping even more. That's what I think. I like tackling and all that stuff. So I chose the defense. I chose the defensive route.
And kind of take us to that versatility, because like I said, you are a linebacker, but at 6'7", 280, like you're obviously could be ran up front many different times too. And we see that with countless NFL players now. So is that something that you look forward to doing? And take us to the versatility. Like, how have you learned to be able to play a couple different positions as well?
Just looking at, our depth and what we have. And, that's something me and my coach would talk about. Like, how would you feel if you was the 3 tech in the pass rush package? How would you feel if you was the nose in the pass rush package? Because, me and him would watch film, and, guards tend to not handle like speed, length, and height coming all at you at once. They used to big bodies. They used to just stubby bodies. They're not used to somebody that's lean and quick and can move in a short amount of in a short form of distance.
Mm-hmm.
So when I seen that start paying off, I would tell my teammates, hey, get the outside. I'm finna rush the 3. And like we would laugh about it, after the game. Like, man, you know what you was doing? You was trying to get in the 3. I was like, yeah, I sure did. Like, it's just fact because I feel, me personally, I like being versatile because that's what helps me make my money. That's what teams can look at and be like, he can do just more than one thing, because so. Not only that, I like being versatile. I'm versatile. I like rushing from a 3. I would rather rush from a blitz from a linebacker position if I wanted to. Like that's because I see it as being all around football. I like it, and I personally see it as it's fun to me. It's fun. I like doing it.
Obviously, the guy this year that everyone's talking about because he plays practically almost all positions right now is Micah Parsons. But has there been a guy that you've looked up to? Is there a guy you even say you kind of model your game after, maybe even compare yourself to that's in the NFL, present or past?
You got Lawrence Taylor, DeMarcus Ware, especially DeMarcus Ware. Not only because of how long he lasted in the league and Pro Bowls and Super Bowl rings and Hall of Fame, because he came from Troy, which was very close to Elba. So I would modelize some of my moves off of him. I would watch as much of his highlights as I can, from the time he was a rookie in Dallas to where he ended in Denver. So it was people like him, and then you got people like DeForest Buckner, where he would rush from the 3, the nose, and stuff like that. So not only will I would watch film from the 3 tech pass rush, that's why I would try to modify and look at my moves from his perspective.
Now, I was going to that sophomore season you had. Obviously, it was a messed up year because of COVID. Everyone was affected, all sports. We know how crazy that was. You guys end up going 6-3 on the year, only get to play 7 games for yourself that year. Take us through that year. Like, how did you adjust to that? What was the COVID year like for you?
I mean, it was different. It was. I mean, I'm sure it was different for everybody because just I felt like I was free to where I was, locked up at one point where I couldn't go nowhere. There was a lot of precautions that there wasn't. There was a lot of restrictions there that wasn't there. So it was like a whole new world that I just stepped in and I didn't know how to handle it at first. And there wasn't nothing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just tried to make it as realistic as possible, try to refer on things that happened before COVID. But I mean, at the end of the day, there was only so much I could do with COVID, you know. And it was hard. It was hard for not only me, but for the whole team to adjust because it was just so different. And, you know, like I said, we couldn't do anything about it. It would get hard sometimes. And then on top of that, you know, the deaths of like, you know, COVID victims and stuff like that, it would be hard, but it would also be scary at times. Because, you know, you never know what would happen.
So when you look at that season, you only got to play so many games. Obviously, like you said, it was not the typical year. Would you say you were successful? Like, were you happy with what you were able to accomplish, kind of considering everything going on around you?
I mean, I feel like I would say that. I say I couldn't do as much as I wanted to, you know, because due to injuries and not playing enough the games, you know, people canceling out. I just felt like that year was just a restart, if that makes sense. Like, I just feel like I just wasn't the best person I could be for my teammates and my team. So I had to redeem myself this past year because I feel like I could have played a lot better if I wasn't injured. If I was injured, I could have did this if I was 100%. I feel like I could have built. I feel like I could have been more productive, you know. So I really looked at it like that. That was just the main goal for me.
And there is one team I want to touch up on. There are a couple guys that you play with now that are playing the NFL this past season, but one guy specifically, Jordan, walk us through that a little bit. Like, he's a guy that has made the NFL jump now, a 4th-round pick, played in Jacksonville right now. Walk us through your guys' relationship. Like, how did you guys form that dynamic duo together, and just what was it like playing with him?
That's my twin. That's my right hand man. You know, that's my dog. Like, I don't have nothing but positive things to say about him. Like, but you know, he embraced me as his, you know, his little brother when I first came up there. You know, because you know, he'd be like, you know what, man, we look just like that was just his. That's just was his thing. Like, man, you my twin, you my long lost brother, man. And ever since then, we always been close. You know, I got off the phone with him just before about 2 hours ago. You know, he was just taking me through like the training process, just keep doing what you're doing, keep taking what they're telling you serious. You know, he was just he was just that big brother, but he was that big brother that showed me more than he could tell me. Because not only he talks me through things, but he can show me through things, and he's been through the process. That's why I can trust what he says. You know, and it's always been like that ever since me and him was playing at UAB, you know, and that's just been somebody I looked up to. That's my big brother. That's my twin. And everybody could see that going into like when we play on teams and stuff like that. Just, man, it's hard to get past. It's hard to block those 6, 7 guys. How do you get them? Stuff like that. So, but I'm glad I had a chance to, you know, embrace him as like my brother, you know, because that's somebody I really trust. That's somebody I really, if I got a problem, I could talk to. That's just like he's my family. Like, blood can make us any closer.
So when you look at all the memories you guys have created so far in the past now 4 years knowing him, what would you say is your favorite memory with him?
Going out to eat. It was just the fact that, you know, we went out to Hibachi with our coach. No, our coach wasn't there. I remember, and he was like, "Oh, he gonna give us the card. Oh, I'm finna run it up. So, you know, and I'm talking, he went crazy on the menu. He was like, I'm finna get this, I'm finna get that. Do you got extra this, extra that? And I'm like, Jordan, golly, bro. Like, and it's just funny times like that, from dancing in the locker room to just his energy in the facility. You know, because his energy is just a one of a kind when it comes to if somebody, it's his to the point where people would know, oh, that's Jordan. That's Jordan. Like, the stuff, some of the stuff you seen like in NFL where people are mic'd up just saying funny stuff, doing funny stuff. I kid you not. Like, sometimes I'll never forget that I'll never forget one day, we just chilling. We like, Jordan, it was a water break. And like, we sitting there, just chilling. And I see Jordan, and Jordan got shades on in his helmet. Like, I'm like, who helmet you? I'm like, who shades you got? He was like, Coach Reeves. I'm like, Coach Reeves, you let him take it? He was like, yeah, that's my dog, man. And we just chill like that. Like, and he would see somebody like, Jordan, you got shades on? Yeah, man, I got shades on. That's him. That's Jordan. He's just an energetic type. He's the big kid. That's my bro. Like, and I could do nothing but laugh around Jordan. I never had a moment where I got upset with Jordan. I never had a moment where things got negative. It was always been positive with Jordan.
Obviously, God's gonna have a plan wherever you end up going. There's 32 different options for you in the NFL, but let's say something happened where you happen to go to Jacksonville, or if something happened to Jordan somewhere else, like you guys end up teaming up wherever that is in the NFL, even if it's later on in your guys' careers, a few years after rookie contract, whatever happens, what would that be like? And just how excited would you be to possibly team up with him at the NFL level?
I just know it would be a movie. It's going to be a movie. It's going to be fun. It's going to be energetic. It's going to be all hell going to break loose. Because at the moment we find out, it's gonna go. So many emotions gonna run through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no telling what would happen. Just to continue on from playing at UAB to playing on the other side of each other in the league. Like not many people can do that. There's people that did it. Devontae, Jalen, Tua, Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain people like that, but how many people actually have a chance to do that?
Yeah.
So, especially on the defensive side, coming, playing at the same time. So it's gonna be one of those dreams that's gonna be a crazy feeling. That's gonna be a real crazy feeling.
Absolutely. Well, let's head into the junior season that just made you the kind of the career and the path that you got to go to the NFL draft. So now COVID's pretty much gone. Obviously, we still know it's there, but in terms of the intense protocols, we're pretty much gone for this year. You guys go 9-4. You guys just won a bowl game. You have a huge season, make all conference second team. Just take us through preparing for this year. Like, as you're getting ready to go, going through training camp and everything. How are you feeling about the season just heading into it?
I mean, like I said, I just take it one day at a time. I just need to focus on the task at hand. Don't focus on the future. The future will just handle itself if I take care of the present.
Mm-hmm.
So, whether that's working out, whether that's running, whether that's nutrition, whether that's sleeping at night, just the things that make me feel the best, feel at my best, make me feel more comfortable and feel that I'm doing the right thing. Everything is just going to work itself out. What I do now determines the future. And so I'm just focused on the present right now rather than the future.
Now, as you go through this year, you end up getting 45 tackles on the whole year, 7.5 for a loss, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Walk us through the overall stats. Obviously, you had that was successful. That's why you made all-conference second team. But was this kind of the exact year kind of playing out? Did you think you were going to achieve all this? Was there more you thought you could have done? How do you feel you did this junior season?
I felt like I did an exceptional job, and my coaches and players would say that. Mm-hmm. But, I don't leave no regrets, There's obviously, people will say, hey, I wish I could have did more, but I did as much as I could, and I did all I could do, whether I played injured, whether I didn't play injured, whether I was playing, with a soreness, whether I was playing hurt. I played every game because, I'm a team player, so I'm finna go out there with my brothers, and we're about to go to war. We're about to go out there, we're about to get this dub, and there's no turning back. So that's how I went about the whole season. That's how I went about it game by game. And, just the vibe of just looking at it how I felt, just looking, and me getting recognition about it, that's what made me, I'm finna keep turning up. That's what motivated me to be more hungry, be more more motivated to go out there and make more plays. So, and that's how it was, from the Florida Atlantic game. I'm gonna try my best to get every sack of game from this point on out, because now I know the feeling of turning it up and getting past tackles and get to the quarterback. I know what it feels like now. I mean, I always had that feeling, mm-hmm. But to actually connect and finish off the play with the quarterback instead of him just throwing it out of bounds and getting pressure. Now I know how it feels. So I'm finna keep making these plays. I'm finna keep making these plays, and I'm not gonna be satisfied. And I'm not gonna be satisfied until the game is over. And I'm still not gonna be satisfied then, because now that we on the way home and Sunday, we're just gonna do recovery. But now it's the next game. Now I'm finna do everything I can to make a play this game. So that's how I went about it, just game by game. I'm just finna do the best I can and try to take bigger steps as much as the games go on.
You got to leave your college career with probably one of the bigger accomplishments I think every player wants to leave the college career with, and that's winning a bowl game. You lost to your freshman year, but you come back now. You beat BYU in a big game, 31-28. What did that mean to you? Just walk us through just playing in that environment. You get a bowl championship. What does that mean to you?
I mean, it was a lot. Like, it was a lot of emotion because everybody counted us out. Mm-hmm. And it's to the point where we like being underdogs, because we know, we may be a smaller school, but we going to play with anybody. We don't care who you are. We're not going to lay down. We're not going to back down. We're going to give you our best regardless. And that's always been UAB, not only as an offense, but we took it serious as a defense. That was our main thing. So we didn't care who you were. And, I give credit to BYU, their run game, their defense, But with us, it was just the fact that we're not going to lie down. We're not going to just lay here and take it from y'all. Y'all not about to run the ball on us. Y'all not about to just make us lay down, just run us out the stadium. No, that's not what we do. That's not how it. Because if you was like that, you shouldn't be out there. We didn't take that. We didn't take that too lightly, and just seeing people count us out, like even on ESPN, we was the least confident out of everybody. So when we seen that, that added fuel to the fire. And when I say when everybody seen it, like I already knew what type of game it was when we was going into it. We knew what type of game it was. We had everybody, you could tell everybody's eyes in that locker room in practice. Mm-hmm. It was just the fact that we like being called out in front of everybody. Yo, UAB, you can do this, but BYU is this. No, it's not like that. If we're gonna play to the best of our abilities, and we already know whoever is coming out as a dub is gonna be the better team, and that's what people seen in the bowl game.
I've got to ask you one aspect too, and as we've talked about, you've known you're put on the mock draft now for probably a few months now. Like, you've been in that second round spot. There's always room to move up, move down. We talked about earlier, and that's been the big debate right now. All these bowl games, we see countless NFL prospects not playing in them, and some do, obviously, in your case too. What was your ploy? Why did you say, okay, whatever happens, but I'm going to go out there. I want to play in this bowl game. And what's kind of your stance when it comes to that?
It's just a fact, because that was one last chance for me to show what I could do against not only just a regular team, but a ranked team at that. So not only they're number 12th in the country, but this is my chance to show to scouts that, we played Georgia this past season, but we're playing BYU, and I got one more chance to show, because not only this is televised, this is on national TV. Everybody watched that game. I think it was a record set that game, as many viewers. So it's like, I'm finna show everybody what I can do one more time. And that could raise eyebrows. That could raise eyebrows to the scouts, because that main thing from coming from Group 5, it's the competition level. It may not be as dominant as the SEC or the ACC or the Pac-12, the Big Ten. It just, that's always going to be a question, just the competition. So when I took it as that, okay, maybe they may be Group 5, they may be Power 5, but they're not just some regular team. They're ranked number 12 for a reason. Mm-hmm. So I took it upon myself, the team took it upon myself, and we said, we're going to challenge y'all to see if y'all really belong in that number 12 spot. And obviously, the turnout would happen. That's how we went by it. And I said, this is it. This is my last chance. This is my last chance to do something.
So you now look at all your career, all 3 years, every single thing you put together stat-wise, award-wise. But in terms of on that field, you've had a ton of sacks throughout your career. Which sack was your favorite one?
UTSA.
Mm-hmm.
UTSA. It's just the fact playing in that Alamo Dome, and that was probably the biggest game of my life right there. I mean, not only, it was my biggest game of my life at that time because, when we played Marshall, that was of course one of the biggest games. But so it was just something about this game where everything mattered. Every snap mattered, every decision mattered, every choice mattered. So that sack happened, when that sack happened, it was just everything paused for me. Like everything, not only the ball was going, but it's like just hearing that air just suck out the whole Alamo Dome, just everybody gets silent because, oh, the ball is loose. Now they have the punt, and then we ended up scoring. We ended up scoring on that the next drive. It was like a at that time I'm thinking it's like it's like a closer. A closer. So not only that, it was just the fact that just everything works out in my favor. It's just I went out there and got it. Like I seen the opportunity and I took it. So and also that was like my first time actually diving for like a sack. Because I always had a sack like standing up or tackling somebody, like actually reaching out and going to get somebody. It was like it was crazy. Like and I'll take credit because that was a hectic game. Like that was probably the most tense game I ever played in my life. Like just the vibe in that dome was just make it or break it.
So what goes to the mind of someone that, as we know, you have a ton of sacks. You're one of the better sack players in the country last year. What goes through your mind as you're lining up? Just take us through your progression. What's going through your mind? Like, how do you get ready for a play every time you line up on that line?
I mean, of course, as as somebody who watches their film, I pay attention to what's going on, not what I going on. Like I know my play. Now I scan what's going on, in a certain amount of time, whether they're in the shotgun, whether they're in a power run formation. I check stances, I check tendencies, I check quarterback cadences, I check everything that's about to happen. And with film, if you watch film the right way and put time and work in when it comes to film, you know what's going to happen. So it's funny. It's funny yesterday because certain teams that I played be like, oh, here comes the toss this way. Here comes the toss this way. So now they have to look at it. They'll make a face at me and be like, time out, time out, time out. Like he knows I play like. So it's just the fact that, not only hard work comes in the film room, but it shows you a whole lot and it teaches you a whole lot. And it's like a cheat code to the game if you practice it the right way.
You got 4 months left into the draft process. If a GM comes up to you and talks to you and he tells you, okay, this is what we want from you, this, that, like we want to possibly draft you, what would you tell them? Like, what would they be getting in you?
They would get somebody that not only teaches the game, but not only somebody that loves the game, we love to and would love to be coached by people who love the game also. They're not going to get some player, that's just happy to be there. They're going to get somebody that's there to work. They're going to get somebody that's there to put the time in on and off the field. There's going to be there's looking for a person who is also going to do the little things and details right. So, and I take the little things very serious because, without the little things, there wouldn't be no big things. So not only I would tell them those things, but, I would tell them we're about to ride. Let's do this. I'm happy to be a part of the team as usual, but you're going to get somebody who does everything little by little, piece by piece.
So when you do come the draft day, you have, like I said, about 3-4 months out from that, April 28th. What's going to go through your mind? Obviously, you're going to wait through the first day, then day two, maybe even day three, whatever God's got in store for you. Like, what's kind of your plans for that day, and what's going to go through your mind when you do hear the commissioner say your name?
I don't know. I would think about that all the time. And the crazy part, I wouldn't know what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type, if I get too happy, I'm running outside. I'm doing crazy stuff. It's just I may feel the same way how I felt when I declared for the draft. I just had to sit there and just think about what just happened. Like, so it's really life changing to the point where, you know, anything can happen, you know. So it's just to the point where we just gonna see what's gonna happen. My reaction is just going. I couldn't even tell you my reaction because I could tell you, and I could end up doing the opposite, you know. So I can end up crying. Who knows? Who knows? So we just gonna have to see. We just have to wait and find out and see.
When you look at all the quarterbacks in the NFL, which quarterback would be your dream sack against? Like if you could pick any quarterback in the NFL, who do you want to sack?
Tom Brady off the dome. Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
And if you do get that sack, what would be your reaction?
I gotta get him to sign my jersey or something. I gotta take a picture with him after the game or something. Like for him to be doing it this long, and for him to be doing it at the pace, like he's still passing, he still passes the ball like he's back in New England winning the first championship with them. Like so it's like he never ages. Like he's real deal. And I used to hate Tom Brady, you know. Crazy part, I hated Tom Brady. Like when they played the Giants, when I was little and they played the Giants, I remember watching that game because it's like I was hoping Eli win because after that it's like they always found themselves in the Super Bowl. So then like after they beat the Rams, I just accepted it like, man, Tom Brady's go. It is what it is. And ever since then, I've been a fan of Tom Brady, and it's still exciting to this day to watch him because it's fun at times because you never know what he could do. He could run the ball, then he may end up scrambling it for 10 yards like he does, and it's so exciting to see because somebody at his age can do it for so long, and he still does it like it's just easy.
And also at the same time, like if Tampa Bay happened to go and draft you, obviously that's if he stays another year. I think all signs kind of point to him based on how good he's playing, but it's all to me in his decision. So if you ended up being possibly teammates with him, what would that be like?
I'll probably be starstruck. I couldn't even lie. And I don't get starstruck. I would get starstruck, but it would depends on like who you are. Like at first, when Jameis Winston was training in the facility, I'd be like, "Yo, that's Jameis Winston." So I was like that with Jameis Winston. Imagine how I'd be with Tom Brady. Like this man just shook my hand. This man just like Tom Brady knows my name. Like, oh my God, like that's probably how I'd be. Like, and I probably call everybody like, y'all, Tom Brady know who I am. Like, so we gonna see. We gonna see. That would be fun to play with Tom though.
Now, did you have a dream team growing up? Like, was there a team or maybe a couple of players that you just rooted for growing up?
The Saints. I remember it was the Saints. I remember cheering for Peyton Manning when he was with the Colts. I remember cheering for Clay Matthews when he was with the Packers. I remember just little things like I want to say his name. I can't think. Arik Armstead. I'm a fan of him. Uh, just those people. Those people.
Absolutely. Well, a few more things before I let you go. One of which is something that we kind of touch up on throughout the interview, and that is your faith with God and your religion. So going a little bit deeper into that, obviously you're outspoken. You have Philippians 4:13 in your bio, mention God throughout the very first paragraph of your declaring for the NFL, as well as throughout the rest of it too. So how has God helped get you to the point that you're at today?
I mean, without him, there's nothing possible, you know. And I always put my faith in him and everything. I put everything that I stress about to him. I know it's gonna work out for the better. And you know, when I did that, I felt so relieved. I felt like he took it off my hands, and that's what he's always did, and that's what he's gonna continue to do. Because it's just that type of trust I have in him. So, and I don't really talk to certain people about stuff like this, but it's just the fact that, you know, it's the truth. Like, you know, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not going to, you know, ease my way around it. That's just the honest truth. Like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.
So when was that point for you? Like, when did you first start feeling like, okay, I'm a truly trusting guy. I want to accept you as my Lord and Savior. I want to follow you. Like, when was that for you?
It was when I had surgery. And I was scared. It was in my left meniscus. It was in high school, and I felt like I was never going to be better than I was before then. Because my junior year, I had like a monster season, and then I had the surgery, in the spring. Well, I had surgery like a week after the spring game, going into my senior year. So I had that fear like I would never be able to play. I would never be able to play as good as I was. And I was afraid I would never be the same, because nobody wants to have surgery. Nobody wants to have surgery. So it was scary. It was real scary. But, luckily, everything worked out fine, and I ended up, becoming who I am today. I ended up playing, I ended up getting bigger, stronger, and faster and playing better than I did. So at the moment, it was real scary because I didn't know what was going to happen. I would never want to have surgery. I didn't think about having surgery. So hearing that word, it was just like somebody just stabbed me in my heart. Like my breath was going. Like that's not what I want. That's not what I plan on having. That's not what that's not me. Like I don't like surgeries. I don't deal with that. So looking to where I am now compared to back then, that's when I knew. Like that's when I really did do. When you're little, you don't really have that idea. So now that I've grown older and now that I, have been through situations in my life, like that's where I could look at it and be like, wow, that's respect. Like that's hats off. Because I don't think nobody would have got me through situations like he did.
And there's various ways to possibly keep spreading his light. And obviously, I said you have it in your bio, you put in your declaring for the NFL post. But as you get a larger and larger platform now, while you're in the NFL, how do you plan to be able to continue to be his light and spread his light and kind of be a light to the world?
I always talk to, people about charities, giving back to the community, anything to make him smile, anything to make me, anything to put a smile on anybody's face. So that's what I could do. He gave back, he helped people out, and, he made people feel happier. He brought joy to people. And, when I saw that, when I looked at that and when I read about it, I could do that too, So that's a couple ways I could look at just giving back to my community, just coming out, speaking to people, just certain stuff like that. Because, little things like that could go so far, and you never know who it could, you never know who it could touch. It may not touch one person, but that next person is going to actually, they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it, and it's going to open their eyes. It's going to, it's just going to touch their heart, and it's going to touch their soul.
Amen, man. Well, I got two more final questions for you before I let you go. The first one is forever how long you are in the NFL for. When you do finally step away from the game someday, though, what do you want to remember for what you achieved and accomplished throughout your career?
Just the fun memories. The memories is, they can only last so long, and you can't take nothing from that. That's what I would take back. I would take the memories with me. Because you can't relive certain things, as much as you would want to relive them. But that's my main takeaway, just the memories with everybody, teams, fans, family, just everything.
My final thing for you: give fans your three biggest goals you have set for your rookie season in the NFL.
I have top sack leaders in the league, most tackles by a defensive rookie, and nominations for Man of the Year.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on the beginning of the process. I'm excited to see what God got next for you, and appreciate you taking time to come on today.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. You're always welcome on, man. God bless.
All right, you too.